Hello there, everybody, and happy Video Monday. Teshia here. As per one of your Video Monday requests, this week's topic is protein powder. So much to say about it, really. Starting off, do we need to supplement our diet with protein powders? I personally don't believe we do. There is tons of ways to get enough protein from your food. Nuts and seeds and dark greens and superfoods and beans and lentils. There's tons and tons of sources of protein in a plant-based diet. Tofu, if you do that, tons. We don't need necessarily to use protein powders. Now, if you're really trying to build muscle, if you are dieting, you might need more protein to help you maintain the muscle that you have on your body. So absolutely, more protein is going to help protein synthesis. It's going to help you retain muscle on your body. But we don't need a ton of it. And actually, if you eat too much protein, you could still gain weight just like anything else, just like any other macronutrient. You only need really as much as you need, and only you know that, what's right for your body. Sometimes if people's energy is really lagging, they find that sometimes protein helps them if they've ruled out that there's not an issue with their iron levels or their thyroid or whatever. Sometimes low energy can manifest from not enough protein. But again, you'll have to feel this out for your body. Do I use protein powders? Sometimes, but not that often. When I do make a shake or a smoothie, I often will use, for example, just plain old simple hemp hearts. 3 tablespoons of these have 10 grams of protein. And that's not obviously a ton, but when I mix in the other things that I would be using with this, like some greens, some perhaps spirulina, whatever it may be, it's important to remember that those other foods will also have a few grams each, etc. So it'll add up to be maybe 20, maybe even 30 grams when it's all said and done. So this is my preferred way, something really natural. Hemp hearts are a great way to get protein in your smoothie. Also, Sun Warrior is a fantastic protein powder brand, and so is Garden of Life, these raw proteins. I like these sometimes too. So I don't take these every day, but for example, if I have a day where I do an extra intense workout, like a boxing workout, for example, or if I'm doing some weights or a bunch of like push-ups, that kind of thing, then I might need the extra protein. I find that it helps me. But like if I'm just doing yoga or some gentle walking, I don't really need to add protein shakes to my diet. That it doesn't personally feel right for me. Also, it's important to remember that even really good companies like this, they're still processing things to a degree. And we want to always, as a general rule, limit the processed foods in our diet. Now, if you are trying to build muscle, or if you are really, struggling to maintain the lean body mass that you have, let's say you're dieting, for example, and you want to maintain or retain as much of your muscle as you can, you might benefit from adding in a little bit more protein, especially if you know that it's not showing up in your diet. There are, though, remember, tons of ways to get enough protein from a plant-based diet without relying on supplements. Beans, legumes, nuts and seeds and dark leafy greens and superfoods and superfood powders and green powders. There's lots and lots of ways. That said, if you enjoy shakes and smoothies and that kind of thing, you could absolutely add a little bit more of a processed protein powder of some sort into your shake. Just make sure you pick a good one. Again, Sun Warrior is fantastic, as is the Garden of Life protein powders. When it comes to choosing your protein, be careful, especially with things like soy and whey. Soy, often, GMOs, say no to GMO. And whey is a very, very high allergen food. It always shocks me how many people are drinking whey and whey protein shakes and yet are allergic to dairy. And they just never made that correlation. that could be a huge thing for perhaps some of you listening to this. If you have a sensitivity to milk products, to dairy, don't drink whey protein shakes because whey comes from milk, from the cows. So that's good to know. You want to go with something sourced from brown rice or from pea or, quinoa or some other plant-based food. Um, yeah. What else did I want to say about protein? Oh yeah, simply that like if you are trying to build muscle, the main thing actually in your diet is going to be that you have enough carbohydrates as well, because carbohydrates are actually the most anabolic of all the nutrients. So that they're really going to help you have enough energy to like push hard in your workout and also again build that muscle. In my experience, the best way to build muscle and to retain muscle is to use the muscle. If you stop working out completely, you're going to get a little bit flat. You're going to lose your muscle. You don't need a ton of protein to maintain your muscles. You just need to use them and use them often. And of course, eat enough. If you're eating in too big of a deficit, you're going to lose fat, but you're going to lose muscle too. So you need to make sure you're eating enough to sustain your lifestyle, your activity level, your body weight, etc. Yeah, I think I've summed up pretty much everything that I want to say about protein powders. The only other thing is if you are somebody who's doing tons and tons of processed protein powder drinks per day, really be careful with that. Excess protein can be really hard on the kidneys, and you need your kidneys. Your kidneys are your battery, and they are so important for every function in your body. Also, your liver. Your liver has to process any type of processed food that you eat, and you don't want to be too hard on that filter. You need to keep that filter working well. So enjoy your protein shakes if you love them. Choose from good companies. And just experiment. You may not need as much protein as you think. There's a lot of pseudoscience out there that says you need this many grams for this amount of your body weight. And you can only absorb so much at a time anyway. So don't be afraid, so to speak, especially if you're already feeling really good in your diet. You may not need to add in that extra. Hope this has been helpful to you on some level today. As always, visit my Facebook page, Teshia Mahar and the Home of Living Live, and follow me there as well as my website, www.teshiamahar.com. Have a great week, everybody. Happy Video Monday.